basically the requirements for specialization of IT skills as a challenge for vertical market companies. I mean, you have dedicated UI, UX designers, you have dedicated testers, dedicated requirements analysts, you have DevOps, security guys, you have infrastructure guys. So we have all these skills that are no longer, I mean, it used to be it required to have a senior developer in some technology or platform, and he would deal with most of the technical challenges, but that's no longer the case. You have front-end developers and back-end developers. How do you see that affecting vertical market software?
Well, there's clearly a higher fragmentation of specialties in a company, and you need multiple specialties more than you needed 10 years ago because of the proliferation of new technologies, mobile web, and so forth. And that makes it actually harder sometimes to find the right resources, the right team to do some of the projects. And some of them might not even be continuous. And that's why having a partner outside who has the right skill to be able to manage this kind of changes in the volume needed can be a very good solution for software companies, software product companies. And yeah, also the market can be quite hot in some areas. I mean, the IT market, and there's a lot of competition from startups and from other players on the market. So that really pushes sometimes a product company to look for outside partnerships to be able to fulfill and to put on the market a new module, a new product, a new extension of their product.
Okay. Do you think, for instance, that let's say looking for outside talent would affect in some way the domain knowledge or the knowledge or the business continuity of a company? I mean, the fact that you're looking to I don't know, mobile developers in some external company or something like that?
Well, for a product software company, there's a huge need to maintain the market knowledge because that's the biggest asset of the company in itself. But getting specialized help in different areas and even sometimes strategically outsourcing some parts of the product development can be an option to actually allow you to focus on what's most important. So it's not about losing focus, it's actually about getting more focus by really focusing on what only you can do, and that is to stay close to the market and stay ahead of the developments in the market. And then you might need help on executing some of the strategies, but you need to be in the lead with understanding where you're going and what you need to do.
Okay, so practically you're focused on your business.
Exactly.
And getting specific help in the points where you don't have the skills or focus required to develop the skills, let's say, for developing specific add-ons and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and the comparison I like to do, I like to make quite often is to a construction company. Like each one of us has a house, and we're perfectly able to maintain that house over like 20 years. But there comes a time when you need to do a renovation of the house, which might take you, a few months, half a year, and it's similar with products in the software product world. And that's where you usually go out and get somebody to help you in that stage because it's the amount of work is much bigger than usual, and you're not just maintaining and slowly adding things, but actually doing something more radical there.
Right.
And that's where it should be a win-win relationship where the product company brings all their experience, their market knowledge, while the partner brings in their wider experience on modernizing multiple products. And that experience can be very relevant to somebody who's only doing that once every few years or 5 years or so.
Yes. Do you think there is any difference between, for instance, a vertical market software company or a horizontal one from this perspective, from these challenges perspective?
I think the type of competition can be different because a horizontal can be more easily replicated. On the other hand, the horizontal companies, the horizontal products can be quite huge, like an ERP, CRM solution can be quite huge. But I don't see a structural difference, but there are clearly nuances in terms of competition, in terms of how many competitors there are, and what type of competition it is. And it's not always a one-to-one competition, somebody that can replace fully a product, but it can take away from the market share at the enterprise customers. If you're not staying close to the market and innovating, there will be other companies filling the gap that you're leaving behind.
Because mostly, I mean, one of the things that has changed in the last years is that the barrier of entry into an application is getting smaller and smaller because of the new technologies. I mean, a kid can do with Ruby on Rails or something else in a couple of weeks, months, which pretty much took, let's say, a proper company 10 years ago.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that kid will not be able to rewrite a vertical application on Ruby on Rails, but he can write a portal or a mobile application that can, draw attention away from your product somehow, and then it's hard to integrate. So, yeah.
Right. Do you think that on the long run, in general, there is a lack of, let's say, invention or inventivity for this type of companies? I mean, in general, all of them are kind of focused on a set of products and don't really care about long-term vision, about what's going to happen in the market in, I don't know, 20 years.
Well, I think that's a general problem in any market, because every company is perfectly structured to be able to survive the next quarter, but not all companies are perfectly structured to be relevant in 20 years. And I think that's the big challenge on the market and there are books written about this, Crossing the Chasm, for instance, about which are the best strategies to stay ahead of the daily emergencies and priorities and to think structurally. And of course, managing technology is part of that, and we talked about that in a different session, where even technology, you don't need to think about it just for the next 5 years or for one moment in time, but more like an enabler, a platform which allows you to be flexible over the next 20 years. And I think that's a big challenge. And the companies which manage to execute well on their technology will have the freedom to follow the market quickly and stay relevant on the market. While where there's a lot of unmanaged technical debt, that can slow down the organization and actually block efforts to stay ahead. And of course, it's not just competition, it's actually the way the whole company is structured to be close to the customer. Because in any industry we can be introverted and not listen to the customers, or we can be very focused on customers and stay focused on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.